last questions?
Yeah. Can we do it in front of our camera?
We can do it. Yeah, go ahead. I'll stay here.
Okay. I mean, do you have any inkling as to what they were thinking, what direction they might go?
No, he didn't give us an inkling, but I think that we're in a position where Leonard is eligible for parole. And so this is really a new stage in the case, and the only question then is whether or not they're going to exercise their discretion and actually grant him the parole to which he now is entitled. Previously, when he went before the parole board, there was some question about his eligibility for parole at that stage. But I think everybody agrees he's eligible for parole right now, and the only question is whether parole will be granted. And as I say, I'm optimistic.
And if it is granted, what's the time frame you imagine?
Well, that just depends on how long it takes them to implement the parole plan. For Leonard, the parole plan is they would then be probably transferred to an institution in somewhere either in South or North Dakota, and then he would be paroled from there as quickly as the arrangements can be made. But it doesn't take very long. Once there's a decision to parole him, he can be paroled in a matter of days or weeks.
Is there anything you felt that might have gone wrong today?
No, not at all. There was nothing that we were exposed to that we didn't anticipate. Leonard was thoroughly prepared to address what we wanted him to address, and our witnesses, I thought, were just extraordinary. And I think, all of them contributed to the pieces of the puzzle that we wanted. In my view, and again, I'm biased, the FBI and government presentations are all just repetitive and nothing new. We've heard it all before. They don't have any creativity. They don't come up with anything new. They don't have any greater ability to explain the justification for their position. It's just a very wooden position. Kill an FBI agent, you live the rest of your life in prison. And I don't think that that's going to impress very many people who aren't already of the same opinion.
And lastly, can you tell us how Leonard was feeling, what he said to you right before you left?
Well, I think Leonard is apprehensive. He wants to go home, and he said that very eloquently. He's ready to go home. He really is desperate to go home as soon as he can, and he's got some things he wants to do. And we just don't know what the decision is going to be at this point. So he's obviously very emotional and very concerned, and we'll just have to hope for the best.
I have one question. Is this the first time they've ever taken it under consideration and not given an immediate answer?
I don't know the answer to that. I've done maybe 200 or 300 parole hearings in different places, and everyone is handled differently. I've had many times where they announced their recommendations. I've had many times where they haven't just been a recommendation but a decision. But I fully expected that he would take it under submission, and he would be careful because they're very conscious of everything that's being observed here. I don't know whether any of you know that, but they had very heightened security. They had the gates of the prison all blocked off, and people there with automatic weapons and so forth and so on. So obviously, everybody's very conscious of what's going on today and who's here, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. No.
Never was. How much of the evidence presented today had not been previously presented in other court procedures, would you say? Like by the reign of terror and other...
It's hard to say. I mean, we were told ahead of time, and from my past experience, they don't want to relitigate the case in the parole commission, and we're stuck with a conviction. So, it's not like I'm arguing before the judges and saying you should overturn the conviction. What I'm arguing to them is, look, notwithstanding the decisions that have been made, there is still a lot of unsettlement, lack of agreement with the situation. Even one of the judges who has written a letter recommending parole because he has some doubts in his mind about whether the right decisions were reached. And there are still unsettled questions about governmental misconduct which contributed enormously to the outcome. Whether or not it was sufficient to overturn the conviction, it certainly was unsettling, and it's something that people are very upset about and worried about, not only in this country, but worldwide. So given all that controversy, given all these doubts, given all those questions, at this point in time, Leonard is entitled to some benefit. And the benefit should be that he should be paroled, that, enough is enough.
I have one question. Did they do anything, or was it mentioned anything about Waymark and what they did to him up there?
I'm sorry?
Was it mentioned on anything what the prisoners, when he was shipped up to Waymark, Pennsylvania?
No, we did not talk about that. That's not really an issue in this case. We did not talk about that.
Okay.
Anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming.
Was his health brought up?
Oh yes, extensively.
Was David Price there, the FBI agent?
No, David Price wrote a letter asking for permission to come, and it was rejected.
Did any of the FBI agents bring the full color autopsy photos again?
No, we did not have any autopsy photos. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.